I love that shit. Hello guys, welcome to the new Premier League season. I said I had a surprise. What could that surprise be?
It's me.
Was it? Flash is here. So Flash is joining us. He is here full time. He literally, it's a very, very long story. We have 45 minutes for this show. It is a very long story, but basically, well, you tell it in a very nutshell.
I left on Tuesday and I got here about 25 minutes ago.
He came straight from the airport. Yeah. That's why we had to move Premier League Punter's show. Martin, it's Martin's anniversary today, so we've got 45 minutes. He's got a date to catch, don't you, Martin?
Yeah, but you guys are my first love, obviously, so I have to see you first.
Don't tell the wife that.
Well, she was out shopping, wasn't she? New dress.
All right, so the first thing, one of the first things, and a lot of us have been talking about this off camera, but we do want to reiterate, the first couple of weeks, Flash, how do we treat it?
Caution. Go with the big boys. They want to get off to a good start. Be careful with the newcomers. I think we can beat up on a couple of them, but there's always shocks. So remember, let's go with Huddersfield. Huddersfield went to Palace, scored 3. I think they made 12 points in the first 18, and that helped them survive. I think we just got to sit and watch a lot of these sides. They've got new signings. And also, I don't think there'll be many draws this year. I think that people are going to say 3 points is better than the 1 point. So I would say that there will be very few draws this year. Maybe draw no bet's going to be a bit redundant for me.
Yeah, and also in the beginning of the season, certainly like the first week, there's always some big upsets on the cards. Martin, have you factored that in? What's your approach to week 1 Premier League?
Pretty similar, to be honest. I think just keeping my stakes a little bit low for the first few weeks because we haven't seen how the new signings have bedded in for all these teams. It's too early to have established any patterns to see which teams are good at home and away. So I think kind of approaching it with caution, keeping stakes relatively low for the first few weeks of the season and for the last few weeks of the season when teams don't have anything to play for, really hit that sweet spot in the middle of the campaign and rack up plenty of profit hopefully during that time. But yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy in the first week, definitely, because so much still to be seen how well teams will play.
Yeah, totally. Anything to add before we kick off, Flash, with a rundown?
Yeah, I didn't think crazy was even anywhere near Martin anyway. I thought you're just like the level play. You leave the crazy to me, and especially at the end of the season when we have such big odds and we find them and they get you either out of trouble or further ahead in the game.
Yeah. I know, Flash, you've never been crazy, to be honest, although you did actually pick up the pace. You ago, when all of us were getting cautionary at the end of the season, you picked up the pace and then smashed it. So, yeah, I don't know which Martin I prefer, the crazy or the safe one.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I had a good season last time around, so I just threw caution to the wind for the final few weeks, and quite a few of them came off actually. So we shall see, but definitely proceeding with caution for the opening part of the season.
All right. Well, listen, kick-off, and it's in about an hour or so. Liverpool versus Norwich now. Liverpool 1.14, draw 9.8, and Norwich 21. Obviously, it's the first game of the season. All of us sort of almost itching to get a bet on this first game, but there is not too much value. I have found a few bets that I'm getting ready to pull the trigger on. Obviously, Liverpool, they'll be fighting Man City for the title this year. Can they do it? That will remain to be seen. But what are you looking at, Flash?
I'm looking at Liverpool to win all the way. I think Liverpool to win to 0 is probably one of the better value bets. I think Norwich will go there and not want to get trounced. Norwich's season doesn't depend on this game, and I don't think it will depend on them entertaining Liverpool at Carrow Road later on neither. I've gone quite careful, to be honest. I've just gone with Liverpool to win and over 2.5 goals, around the 1.5, but I've stuck it in with 2 others just to bump it up to around 3.25, and I'll go into them. But I think Liverpool win to 0. I think Liverpool win covering a minus 1.5. And if you put a gun to my head and said, I think 3-0. I really do think that Liverpool will get off and running. They know that the way that Man City will play this season, they can't afford to slip up at any stage.
Yeah, but you say Liverpool in the over 2.5 goals. That's 1.5. You're going to play that?
I am playing that. Yeah,
1.5?
I am, because the bottom line is early on you've got to be looking that's 50% profit. 50% in a cautionary market. So for me, I don't want to be coming on here next week and saying, oh, I'm 7 units down because I've gone with teams that I don't really know who's going to turn up. I've got leans on other games, but I've only going to pull the trigger on 3 games this week, and I've put all 3 of them together.
Barca, both teams score no and over 2.5 goals at 2.58. Bit better odds there. What do you think, Martin? What do you like?
I've been back and forwards with this game all week, to be honest. I started off by not having a bet on it. Then I was really tempted by Liverpool to win to 0 today, especially when the odds went out to 2.05. But at the last minute, I've decided against it simply because I think it's a bit risky to bet on a team to lose to 0 when they're just promoted to the Premier League, because all the players within that Norwich team are going to be desperate to be the first one to score for Norwich back in the top flight. And they won the Championship last season by playing on the front foot, by playing very attacking football. So I think they might nick 1 goal there, maybe at Anfield. So I've gone a different way. Classic bet. Liverpool under 4.5 goals, 1.73. Don't think this will be too high scoring a game, but 2-0, 3-1, 3-0, something like that to Liverpool. I think that should cover me.
That's the Martin Classic, that. The team and under 4.5 goals. Opening the season with a Martin Classic. Life doesn't get much better than that.
You're going to see a couple more.
I must say that I do agree with you with Norwich. Not obviously today, but I think Norwich are the strongest of the 3 sides that came up. They've got such a good spine. They've got goals in them. They didn't bring in many big stars that are going to upset the apple cart. So for me, I think Norwich will get us some good value throughout the season.
There you go. Dave Betts here saying Norwich haven't scored a goal since January. I'm liking the win to 0, to be honest, 2.05. And depending on where you bet as well, Bet365 have got a bit lower, 1.8. So do shop around for your odds. All right, West Ham versus Man City now. Man City 1.27, draw 7. And West Ham 13. Now, unlike the Liverpool match, there is some value on the Man City minus 1.5. You've got to admit there's going to be goals on the card here. Martin, what do you like here? Obviously, Man City retaining the title. What do you like?
I'm not going to surprise you by going for another classic in this one. I'm going to go for, again, Man City in the under 4.5 goals. They've had West Ham's measure ever since Guardiola took over as manager. They've won 6 out of 6 since he's taken the reins. West Ham just can't sit back and soak up pressure, and that plays directly into Man City's hands going forwards. I think they'll win this one comfortably, but first game of the season, there might be a little bit of caution. Of the 6 wins that he's had against West Ham, only one of them's gone over 4.5 goals. I think this one will come in just under, so I've got 1.7 on that.
Another Martin Classic. There we go. What do you like?
I like just the goals, because I just don't like the fact that West Ham have got a chance to get off to a good start. I don't think that Man City will lose. I just went with just over 2.5 goals in the game, and again at 1.5, and I'll stick that in with Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool, Man City, and one of the other top 6 is where I'm going to be going this weekend, and the rest will just be leans. But I do agree. I think that the thing is with Man City, if they do get ahead of steam up, they could score the 4-5 and go completely bananas, because they've just got so many forward-thinking players. For me, keeping it so simple and just goals, and if it happens to be a real mad game and it ends up 2-2 or something like that, then we've still pocketed. The thing is, early days is to build that pot up and not leave any behind.
Yeah, you think this could be one of the upsets that's going to be a draw?
I just think that with Pellegrini, anything could happen. I mean, they've got a chance, West Ham, to start this season, get the crowd behind them. Listen, 9 times out of 10, Man City are going to win this game. But I just don't like the first game of the season going against mostly home sides.
There you go. Man City minus 1.5 for me, but I do agree there's going to be some upsets. All right, Bournemouth versus Sheffield United. Now, interesting to see Sheffield United newly promoted. Bournemouth 2.05, draw 3.6, and Sheffield United 4.1. Should we go with the home side? Obviously, Sheffield United newly promoted, or is that just an obvious bet?
I wouldn't go anywhere near Bournemouth home to Sheffield United. For me, these are tightly matched. I spoke to someone before I left to come down here at Sheffield United. They said we'll take 0-0 now. So that tells me that they're going to try and stay in the game as long as possible and try and nick a winner. that they will be tactically astute because they haven't got the quality to go and match sides and say, well, you score, we attack, you attack. So for me, I mean, I wouldn't put anyone off. Sheffield United draw no bet. I really wouldn't. I think that's probably the way to go in this game. Or both teams to score no. So, I mean, I think Sheffield United could get something here. I think they're probably the one of the three over this weekend that they've got chances. So for me, I wouldn't go against Sheffield United.
Pie Guy, Sheffield upset alert. Adding strength there to your Sheffield or no bet. What about the under 2.5 goals then, if you say that's the tactic that
well, I can only tell you what they've told me, and they told me that they will take 0-0 now, so they're not going to want to be 2-0 down in the first 25 minutes. They are going to try and keep it tight. They are going to try and come away with something, because these sides that come up, the quicker they can put points on the board, then they gives them that momentum to then build on, and they might have their dodge. Listen, Huddersfield, they're the perfect mandate. 12 points out the first 18 or 21, and that ended up keeping them up because they didn't get hardly any points after that. So for me, Sheffield United to try and put some points on the board and going to Bournemouth, it's not a daunting task.
I'm just going to pull up the odds here for the under 2.5 goals. Martin, I think you've written an article, haven't you, on oddsmarket.com about this match. What do you like?
I have indeed, Natalie. I'm a little bit nervous after hearing Flash's insider information on this one, but I'm going for both teams to score in this game at 1.77. I just think the way that Bournemouth play is often kamikaze football. It's not in their DNA to sit back and defend. They're always going to commit men forward in attack. They like to take risks. They leave gaps at the back. And I think they'll breach this Sheffield United defence, even if Sheffield United are playing for a 0-0. I think with players of the quality of Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, they'll get on the score sheet. But I think Sheffield United will have chances in this game. Like I said with Norwich, I think all these Sheffield United players are going to be desperate to be the first one to score in the Premier League for Sheffield United again. Lys Mousset is going to have a big point to prove against his former club. I can see this maybe finishing 1-1, maybe 2-1 to Bournemouth. So I'm going to stick with my both teams to score 1.77.
All right, so we're sticking to his guns. I have to say, if you guys are tuning in for the very first time, we track all our bets, and both of these guys heavily up. What do you remember your units last season? You were one of the top, weren't you? Do you remember your records?
I think I was top of the pile in the best bets in Europe. I think it was plus 30 units or something like that over the course of the season. Slow and steady won the race. Sort of kept chipping away at it.
Slow and steady, yes. So sticking to his guns there, Martin, going for both teams to score 1.77. I'm sort of liking the under 2.5 goals, I have to say. I think there's a lot of, I'm listening to what you're saying here, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. But I also agree, though, with Martin. But possibly a Sheffield draw no bet as well. It's a tricky one, but there's some value in there. Also, at the end of the show as well, we will run down all our bets for you guys, so you know the ones that we are adding to our record, and for you guys to keep track of. And stay tuned for that one. Burnley versus Southampton. Now, you always have a soft spot for Southampton, don't you?
Well, I've got an inside track on them, and it's a happy camp. I mean, they've bought really well, and the good thing is, you go to Burnley, you've got a chance from day one. Burnley, listen, they struggled early part of last season because of the UEFA campaign. I think that both teams to score an over 2.5 here is an absolute moral. I mean, I'm not going to get involved because it's Southampton and they'll let it down. I think both teams 100% score. Don't look for a winner. Just try and play that over Alex Classic. I think, I do. I can't see these two. They both are, one wants to play football and one wants to play with pace, and the other one wants to just make sure that they go from back to front early, and they want to get off to a winning start. They want to make sure that going to Burnley is not as easy as it was last year. So I can't pick the winner, but I think there'll be goals.
Well, I said no. Turf Moor's always a really difficult place to go. It's always, I don't know. I'm leaning unders on this one. Martin, shed some light on this match. What are you going for?
I'm not touching this one with a barge pole, I'm afraid, Natalie. This one just looks like definitely one to avoid for me. Southampton did look a lot better last season once Hasenhüttl took over. But like you say, I think Burnley have had some good results at Turf Moor. Sean Dyche will get them fired up for this game. I really think this one could go either way. Neither team's really set the world alight in the transfer market this summer. Burnley's dealings have been pretty poor. I think Southampton will finish above Burnley in the table, by a good few points. But on the road in the first game of the season, I think it's too risky for me to bet on this one. So it's a pass from me, I'm afraid.
Okay, all right, interesting. Yeah, Burnley draw no bet 1.92 and under 2.5 goals. My two leads for this match. We are going head to.
Oh, well, yeah, but mine are leans, and you're going to press the button. So I mean, you go for it.
No,
I'm cheering you on.
I said leans.
Oh, okay.
I said leans.
Yeah, well, let's both just lean and let's leave it at that.
All right. So Martin's ain't touching it with a barge pole, but we're leaning.
We are leaning. Yeah.
There we go.
So one of us will be right then.
Crystal Palace versus Everton now. Everton 2.5, Crystal Palace 3.25, and the draw 3.38. Now Everton obviously came, what did they come? 8th last year, largely due to their home performance. They're on the road. So I think this is a really evenly matched match, to be honest with you. Martin, what do you like here? There's value in it, but you touching it.
I wasn't going to, but the more I think about Crystal Palace, I think they're going to struggle this season. I might go with Everton draw no bet at 1.71 in this game. Obviously, they spent the last week trying to sign Crystal Palace's star player, Zaha, who we think handed in a transfer request with a few days to go in the window. That's going to have really unsettled him. Apparently, he's really upset that he didn't get to move away from Selhurst Park. Michy Batshuayi's not gone back on loan because Chelsea need him. So I think Crystal Palace are going to be a bit depleted in their forward line. They could struggle for me this season. I think they're going to be lacking a bit of quality. It's going to depend on whether Roy Hodgson can get the best out of Zaha again, because they've lost Wan-Bissaka and he's the one that really makes them tick. Everton seem to have bought reasonably well. Certainly going forwards, they're going to be quite dynamic with the likes of Moise Kean and Alex Iwobi adding to an already impressive front line. So I think they will get a result there. Everton draw no bet for me, 1.71.
Interesting. Actually, I forgot as well, Alex sent me over his tips. Alex is going for the straight Everton win at 2.45. He's got shop around for your odds. I found 2.5 earlier. What do you think of that Everton win? You've been bringing out low odds this show, I have to say.
I know, but if I was going to go for one in this, you've got to go for Everton.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that look to be one of the three sides that can actually break into the top six with an unbelievable run. They've bought really well. They've got goals in abundance against a side who's struggled. They've got a side who's lost their Wan-Bissaka. They've got players that don't really want to be there. And the big thing is with Everton, which Everton's going to turn up? Because if it's the Everton that started or finished off so well at the end of last year, then there's a massive price, 2.5 for Everton. So Everton, draw no bet at 1.7. I give that the thumbs up.
The thumbs up. We've got here, Brian Rowe is asking, no more SBR soccer videos. This kind of is it. We are, this is for Oddsmarket. Oddsmarket are the European sister brand of SBR. It is the same studio. This is the very desk that Jimmy the Bag does sit on, just different backgrounds. So it's the same thing, but we're doing this for the European market. Head on over if you don't know it, oddsmarket.com, all full of basic European sports, including football, aka soccer, depending on where you live. But yeah, go and check it out. But we're here every week doing football videos. Football, as well as we've got tennis content, UFC content, jam-packed. Dave Betts here, he'll be on, actually he's on next Wednesday, I think. You'll be hosting, was it Wednesday, Tuesday? Wednesday. UFC.
He's smashed that. I have not known anyone in their particular list, and we all do well, but he just doesn't get anything wrong. It's just unbelievable. So yeah, next Wednesday, UFC, put it in your diary. Yeah,
put it in your diary with Dave Betts and Jay Paglia. Okay, so quickly to recap, you're going Everton draw no bet. Martin, you're on Everton draw no bet.
I am indeed.
There we go. And Alex is on the straight Everton win there. I agree with you as well. Everton draw no bet. It's a nice price. Watford versus Brighton now. Watford 2, draw 3.5, and Brighton 4.33. Now, obviously, Watford, I think that Watford at home, priced at 2, looks like a really good value bet. Should I take it?
Yes, yeah, you should. I mean, because I left it alone only because of the principle of making a statement that I'm only going to go with the big guns. But 9 out of 10 people think that Brighton are going to go down. Brighton have lost their manager who'd done such a great job. Feeling in the camp is not great. And if they're going to go down against a Watford side who did so well at home, they scored most weeks, they put big sides to the sword. 2, this time last year, that would have been like 1.5. So, I mean, listen, you can't go against Watford. I can't see anything but a Watford win, but I'm just going to stick to my principles for the first few weeks and not really get involved. Massive lean, near enough falling over Watford at 2.
Yeah, but why aren't you going to take it though? I don't
Because
understand.
I've drawn my line in the sand. I'm doing my free for this week, and we'll see next week if I'm up. I did the right thing.
All right. Alex is passing. I'm taking the Watford win. I just think it's too good. Martin, where do you stand on this one? Are you leaning, playing, or passing?
I think I might play this one, maybe just a half stake for me on the Watford win. I personally don't think Brighton will go down. I think they're going to fare a bit better than a lot of people think. Tony Bloom, their owner, we know is a professional poker player, professional gambler, racehorse owner. So he definitely took a punt by getting rid of Chris Hughton and bringing in Graham Potter. But I don't think he would have done it if he wasn't confident in their ability to perform better now that they've made the change. I think they made some interesting signings. They're still going to be strong at the back. And hopefully Neil Maupay is going to deliver the goals that they need. But in this first game, I think they're going to struggle on the road against Watford, who always seem to start the season really well. They always seem to put a lot of points on the board in the first 10 games or so. And I think they'll be too big and too strong and too powerful in this game. So Watford 2.05, the odds are going out a bit, which is interesting. I'll have a bit of that, but I'll probably just keep it to a half stake because I'm also feeling a bit cautious in this opening week.
Yeah, be cautious. Dave says, can we talk about Newcastle already? We are getting there. We've got 2 more games before we talk about Newcastle, and the next one is Tottenham versus Aston Villa. Tottenham 1.33, draw 6, and Aston Villa 12. Now, obviously, Aston Villa heading towards Tottenham's new shiny stadium. I'm sure it's going to be very intimidating. They're newly promoted. You're saying like fade at all cost Aston Villa.
Without a doubt.
That's your tactic.
Yeah, without a doubt. The players that they've brought in, I just cannot believe I always say this, that they've bought bungalows and paid mansion prices for them. I don't believe that they've got a new back 5, and I don't see where their goals are coming from. They're certainly not keeping clean sheets. Going to Tottenham, and this is the third leg of my treble. I've gone with Tottenham to win, and over 1.5, 1.66. And I've put it in with my 2 1.5s. I just don't see anything other than a Tottenham win. And I'm going to be going against Villa. And when Villa are at home, that's when I'm going to get real good prices on the away sides. And I remember in the futures that we did a few weeks ago, Villa 3.25 to go down.
And so that's your tactic this week. You're doing that treble.
Yes.
You've picked up, and that's why you got the lower odds. I get it.
Yeah.
The penny has dropped.
Well, it's 3.25. So it's the 3.25 that's sucked me in.
All right, so yeah, Tottenham versus Aston Villa. So it sounds like Aston Villa is Flash's mighty Benevento. Martin, would you agree with that? Martin, that's actually one of Martin's great tactics. Is he picks a team to fade and then he makes a ton of money on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially in them European leagues. Yeah. I mean, you could give them 2 goals start, and you know they're going to get beat. And betting in play is good against them because sometimes they go 1-0 up, and you know they're still going to get beat 4.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. They don't get that financial windfall that teams get when they're promoted to the Premiership. If you get promoted to Serie A, you don't get much money and you're just the whipping boys for a season and you go straight back down. But you do get a massive amount of cash for getting promoted to the Premier League. I think it's £170 million it's worth now. And Aston Villa have spent virtually the whole chunk of it this summer in the transfer window. I think they've spent about 140 million quid, but they haven't spent it well at all, like Flash says. I think they could be the new Fulham, spent a fortune last summer and still got relegated. And yeah, it's going to take the manager quite a while to bed in 12 new signings. And I think they're going to struggle for a lack of chemistry, at least in the opening weeks. Going to Tottenham, they've made their new stadium a bit of a fortress. I can't see anything but a Tottenham win here either. I'm going for the classic bet, Tottenham in the under 4.5 goals. So if there's 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, we all win. So hopefully that'll come off.
Yeah, well, I'm with you on this one. I think a Spurs win, a confident Spurs win. I've got Spurs half-time, full-time 1.95 and Spurs minus 1.5 at 1.98. What do you think of those bets?
I prefer the second one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Tottenham, sometimes they take a while to get into their stride. I don't see anything but a Tottenham win, so you can combine it. I mean, Tottenham winning to 0 was probably another good angle for this game. But listen, anything around the 1.8, 1.9. Remember, Tightwad here went for 1.66. So, I mean, they sound to me like real good boosters. And I just see Tottenham winning, and I'm going to fade Villa.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Giorgio was asking, what are the odds on Spurs half-time, full-time? 1.95 they are. Okay, Leicester versus Wolves. Leicester 2.25, draw 3.35, and Wolves 3.65. Now, obviously, Wolves had a great season last season. They ended in 7th. They do now. They're obviously with Europa League, and they need to win this one earlier on whilst they are not in their international commitments. Can they do it on the road, though, 3.65? You're not bringing out these. You would go for something like Wolves. If we were a couple of weeks in, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. But, I mean, if you take out the top 6, this is clash of the mini-titans because we've got Everton obviously going to Palace, but Wolves and Leicester are the other 2 genuine articles that could possibly break in or be that number 1 side outside of the top 6. I think them prices are too high on Wolves. I think the classic here is probably the Alex Classic of both teams to score and over. I think that both will play on the front foot. The big reason I go with Wolves the majority of this season is I think they'll be like a boa constrictor. I think they'll keep the ball, they'll strangle teams to death, and they'll have the quality when it counts. But I see both teams scoring in this game.
Yeah.
It's just who gets the winner. I couldn't pick it, but Wolves are too big at 3.65.
Yeah, I think they're too big as well. Both teams to score 1.9. And I forgot to mention, Alex is going for Tottenham versus Aston Villa, the over 2.5 goals at 1.67. He's going Leicester versus Wolves. This is actually a really nice bet. He's going for Banker over 2 goals, Asian handicap at 1.67. Banker, 2 units. What do you think, Martin? Are we seeing goals here?
Not sure. Again, for me, this is another one that I'm going to have to leave well alone. I think these 2 teams are very, very evenly matched. Thought Leicester were very impressive when Brendan Rodgers took over last season. I think they could be the team that finishes 7th ahead of Wolves. Everton are obviously in the mix as well. But if Leicester can get their defence right after losing Maguire, I think that 7th place will be theirs. What with Wolves having the European commitments to focus on as well. I think this will be a really interesting game to see who comes out on top out of 2 very ambitious teams. But I really can't call it either way. I don't even find goals very attractive. Like Flash said, the way that Wolves try to strangle the life out of the opposition, that makes me a bit nervous back in goal markets when they're playing as well. I think Leicester will be involved in a lot of overs games this time around. But with Wolves, you just never quite know how it's going to play out. So no bet for me, but good luck to you guys if you're going for it.
Interesting. And Alex there going full steam ahead on 2 units over 2 goals. I like both teams to score 1.9. So obviously brings in the over 2 goals Asian handicap. If obviously 2 goals, then you get is a push. We've got like Georgia's liking Leicester money line at plus 125. But then Eden Jets is like Wolves double chance at 1.57.
That says everything, doesn't it?
Well, that's
you
what
get
I mean.
10 people, 5 want Wolves, 5 want Leicester.
Yeah.
But most people think that there'll be goals.
Yeah.
It's a great game to watch.
That it will. But yeah, sometimes as well, like if I see like there's like half the chats like on Wolves and half the chats, it actually go easy on the outrights. But I do think though that Wolves that's a nice price though, 1.6. There is some value there. All right, Dave, we're on the match. Newcastle versus Arsenal. Now, I did read your article, Martin. I do know who you're going for. No surprise. Arsenal at 1.88, draw 3.9, and Newcastle 4.6. Now, I read earlier on that people are liking Newcastle to even go down. I don't know. They've got a decent home side. I don't know if I want to play the Arsenal win at 1.88. Do you want to play the Arsenal win at 1.88?
No, it's goals for me. I think that you've got to look at Arsenal. Arsenal can really rip teams apart. I was looking at Arsenal potentially being each way top 3, top goal scorers, because they just, every single player outside of maybe the centre halves can contribute to goals. And you've got Newcastle, who must get off to a good start at home. And they've got a good squad.
That's what I was thinking.
52,000 keeps getting mentioned every week. I see this as an Alex Classic. It's not something I'm going to play on. But I think that both teams are scoring over. It is probably a really sound bet. But if Arsenal get their towels up early on, they could score 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't think Martin will be going for Arsenal and under 4.5 in this game.
No.
Well, but I don't think there's going to be any more than 5 goals in this match, though. I think if you are going to play Arsenal, then why wouldn't you play Arsenal under 4.5 goals?
Well, I remember clearly Arsenal being 4-0 up against Newcastle not so long ago, and it finished 4-4. Conceded 4 after half time. That was that wasn't a great day. No, I used to live in Newcastle. I got a soft spot for the Geordies, but when I was up there, they got relegated. They've been relegated twice during Mike Ashley's tenure. I think it could be a third time around. Rafa Benitez kept them in the top flight with his tactical wizardry. He's gone. He grew frustrated with a lack of investment. Ashley's just buying up all sorts of ridiculous retail brands over here. House of Fraser, Debenhams. He's hemorrhaging money all the time, and he's not spending anything really on Newcastle. I think they could be in trouble. They've lost their top two scorers from last season, Perez and Rondon. I think it could be a long old season for the Magpies, and I could well see them going down. But in this game, Arsenal took 6 points off Newcastle last season. I think there's a bit of a feel-good factor return to the club after the signings they've made. I do probably fancy them to concede, but I can see Arsenal winning this, maybe 2-1, 3-1, something like that. So yeah, I'm going to stick my neck out and go for the Arsenal win at 1.88 and just hope that they'll be too strong going forwards for Newcastle defence that's been deprived of Rafa Benitez.
Yeah. Dave Betts here saying Arsenal could smash them 4-1, 4-2. Do you think that's true?
I just think you've got to go with the goals.
Yeah.
Because Newcastle, first game of the season, again, a bit like West Ham, let's get this crowd behind us early on. And even if they went and got beat 4-3, the crowd will then return with such optimism, hope, and they'll know they're getting value for money. They don't want to see them get beat 1-0. They want to see them actually go and have a go at these teams. You have a go at Arsenal, 9 times out of 10 you're going to score. Whether you win or not, that's another thing. But I think the Alex Classic is probably the way to go here.
Yeah, I'm just taking both teams to score 1.77. Arsenal rarely keep clean sheets. It's generally a bet that comes in, isn't it, Martin? Playing both teams to score with Arsenal.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good strategy throughout the whole season, really. Poor in defence. And Unai Emery likes to commit the fullbacks forward as well, so it leaves so many gaps. And then you've just got like Socrates and David Luiz, who isn't the greatest defender, trying to man the fort. I think they'll concede a lot of goals this season, but I think they'll score a lot too. So I think the Alex Classic is going to be a good bet for Arsenal. But I do still think they can nick a win up here, just because I think there's a bit of a malaise that's gripping Newcastle at the moment. I think the fans will be on their back. They all hate Steve Bruce. He's the former Sunderland manager, managed Hull as well. He's been relegated with both teams, and I think they're going to vent their fury in this game, which could lead to a bit of a toxic atmosphere. I hope Arsenal can capitalise on it.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle are not out of this, though, are they, at 4.6? I mean, you look at them, they are the typical side that if you did want one side or one big scalp to take on the opening day, then Newcastle away is not really where you'd want to be, and I fancy them having Arsenal, they'd think they've got chances. So I think both teams come out on the front foot.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? Giorgio Miglagio says Arsenal will concede 100%. And then Shane actually is interesting. He says Arsenal can be iffy on opening day and are no banker at 1.88. Rather side with goals. Agreed. And Dave Betts says, what is on the back screen? I agree. I'm not quite sure what's behind us. Exactly. We haven't decided yet. It was a bit rushed until last season. Dealing with him coming over thing, it's been manic, I tell you. So I don't really know what's at the back. We've started to paint something, haven't we, Flash? Do you like what I...
Yeah, we're going to do a little montage, I think.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. But stay tuned. It'll be changed at some point. Oh my God. Arsenal are banker, says Eden Jets.
We'll have to return to that one, I think, next week.
We will return to this one. This is the Premier League Punters crew. This is the new Premier League Punters crew heading into the season. So all our bets will be tracked. It will be these same faces. Hope they're all right for you, because you're going to be seeing a lot of them for the Premier League Punters for the rest of the season. Okay, so all right. So Arsenal bet. What do you go? You're going for the Alex Classic.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Just goals.
Alex is passing. What are you going for, Martin?
I'm going to go for the Arsenal win, 1.88. Yeah, I think they can pull it off.
That you are. I'm going for both teams to score. Manchester United versus Chelsea. It is the final game we are previewing. Kind of saving the best till last. It is the key fixture of the weekend. Sunday the 11th. We're probably going to be at the beach watching this, aren't we?
Are we?
Well, yeah, because we're going down...
Should we be saying that?
Well, he's just arrived.
We'll be in the office on Sunday, won't we?
We don't. We work hard and we play hard, Flash. That's how life is here.
Okay.
So I'm taking you to the to the play hard this weekend.
Oh, are we? Beach.
That's what we're doing. Beach, yes. We're going to the beach and we'll be watching this match at the beach. So Sunday, Manchester United versus Chelsea. Manchester United 2.25 draw, 3.42, and Chelsea 3.7. Now, the Devils are hard to beat on their turf. Chelsea obviously finished in third last season. Manchester United came a not so good 6th. Can I hope for the Devils to win this match? Should I put my hard-earned cash on their win?
I hate the fact that it's the first game, though.
I know.
Because that's the problem. We love this game. This is like one of the iconic fixtures of the year. And also, I'm going on record. I don't think there'll be many 0-0s this year. And if this was later on in the season, I think I would play 0-0, no goal scorer, maybe cash out in 15 minutes ago like I love to do. But with this game, I think maybe Chelsea are too big at 3.7.
Yeah.
But every single... I think the Manchester United, how are they going to play? Are they going to come out all guns blazing? Are there rifts still in the camp? This is... When we opened the show today, we said caution. I think... Because it's on Sunday, we've had a bit of a result because we can see how the other games have gone. And if you're up a few units, then you can have a little bit of a fun investment. Anyone bankers this game, they need shooting on the opening day. There's no banker in this game because you can't even go both teams to score.
Somebody may offer you one. Obviously, Eden Jets likes the draw. Eden Jets likes the draw on this one. And you've got, I think these people have just tuned in. It says, Flash, I see you. I'm a happy man.
Oh, good.
Because you don't normally read the comments, do you?
No, I've got to start.
So now you can start reading the comments.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, big ups, Martin Green. Flash, impeccable. And in person as well.
Yeah, and I've had no sleep for 2 days, but let's not go on about it.
All right, so guys, do you think that there is no banker in this game? And Martin, what do you think? Do you agree with Flash here?
Oh, there's definitely no banker in this game. You might want to put a small stake on it just to have an interest. But yeah, I think this is one that's going to be very difficult to call. We don't really know how either team's going to set out. Obviously, Chelsea have got a new manager, very quiet transfer window, had a transfer ban, but they got Pulisic in beforehand. I think Chelsea will obviously go backwards this season after losing Eden Hazard. He directly contributed to more Premier League goals than any other player in the league last season. They haven't been able to replace him at all. But obviously, Man United, they've strengthened defensively, but they haven't strengthened in midfield. They've lost Lukaku, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on Rashford going forwards. Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult. I might have like a small stake on both teams to score. Don't think it's going to be a particularly high-scoring game, but I think we could be in for a sort of 1-1, something like that. I'm still unconvinced that even with Maguire and Wan-Bissaka that Man United are going to be all that much better defensively this season. I still think they'll leave gaps, and a team like Chelsea could hurt them. But then I think, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Rashford, Martial, Lingard, some of the quick young strikers that Man United have got. So I think they can have a go at this Chelsea defence. I think maybe a 1-1, something like that. But yeah, there's not a great deal of value, but I might go for just like half a unit on both teams to score 1.8.
Yeah, Alex is on both teams to score as well. I have to say this is the match that I'm not touching with a bar.
We will, won't we?
Holy.
We will, won't we? We'll have a bet on Man United, won't we? Because we're at the beach.
No,
we'll have a couple of beers at lunchtime.
I said last season that I wouldn't bet on Manchester United, so I'm not. And it's not a lunch. You're going to have to get used to the time.
Oh, okay.
But I'm actually not sure what the time is.
Okay. It's 4 o'clock, isn't it? So it'll be about 10.
Oh, there we go.
Right?
Yeah, there
Lunch.
we go. So it would be a bit early.
4 beers in by then.
An early drink.
But the other thing is, I think the Maguire signing stinks of desperation. I really do. How can you pay that amount of money for a player that couldn't even lace Van Dijk's boots? For me, I just cannot see that he is a Champions League defender. I really can't. And I've got to go with Martin. I think that both teams will score. I certainly don't see it being 0-0. So if anyone can pick some bones out of it, and they've had a good weekend so far, then I would definitely say that I don't see a 0-0. Let's say that.
Yeah. Under 2.5 goals could be a play though.
Yeah. Well, no, but you might get the 2-1, mightn't you? I mean, maybe go with.
So then you go both teams to score.
Yeah, both teams to score is probably the best way.
All right. For my personal record, I'm not playing anything.
No, nor am I.
Martin's dipping his toes in with a half unit. Brave man.
Yeah, I'm very cautious.
Yes. Dave Betts again says, this show has reminded me, stay away from week 1, 2 and 3. Tread caution, stay away, watch, put a few, half units, something like that. Yeah, but Do be careful. Do be careful. We are here to make money ultimately, but we advise you to tread carefully. Alex is on, like I said, United and Chelsea, both teams to score. He got odds of 1.75. All right, so all 10 games we've wrapped up. Obviously, we started with Liverpool versus Norwich. If you guys were late to the party, just rewind it when we finish. But we are now going to run through the official bet that we will be adding to our record. So, would you like to start?
I would, yeah.
Yeah?
Liverpool to win and over 2.5 goals at 1.5. That's good.
No,
enough.
you've got to run down the whole thing.
Oh, all of mine.
Well,
Okay.
you're not. You may be new to Costa Rica, but you're not new to the show.
No,
How did we do it last time?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with Liverpool to win and over 2.5 goals at 1.5. I'm going Tottenham to win and over 1.5 at 1.65. And I'm going for Man City and West Ham over 2.5 at 1.5. 1 unit on each, because that's what we've got to do. And I'm going to go 1 unit parlay, the 3 of them. And also, I'm just going to throw one in because I think I've got to go with it. Watford to win at 2.05, 1 unit.
Ooh, last minute bet. Last minute
I
bet.
do like that
I know
one.
your memory's very good actually for
like
for having
that.
like 5 hours sleep.
5?
From like
5? Are you lending me a couple of hours, are
No,
you?
but 5. Yeah, but 5 over like 3 days.
I know, yeah. I've done all right there.
All right, so there we go. Good job, Mark. How do you like it? After I found out that you weren't coming at 2 o'clock in the morning, after like staying up waiting for you to come at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, Alex, I need you on the show. Like, I'm like, it's the first week you've got to come on the show. And so, anyways, he did all the prep work, and then you called to say that you're actually en route to the office. I'm like, no, I don't need you now. So
After
anyway.
another 12-hour delay. Another 12-hour
So that's
delay.
why I'm reading out, because he put his hard work into
Thanks,
it. So I didn't
Alex.
want to, yeah.
I'm not so sure about that.
It's
Brave.
it's teamwork.
He's gone for some brave old bets, though, isn't he? I reckon he knew he weren't coming on. I reckon he knew I was making it.
He's a bookie slayer,
He
is
is.
Alex. Liverpool -2 Asian handicap at 1.74. City and the over 2.5 goals at 1.7. Those odds last time I looked, they were 1.5. So shop around yours on that one. Ooh, he's going for Southampton, draw no bet at 2.0. Everton straight up bet at 2.45. He's going for over 2.5 goals, 1.67. Tottenham versus Aston Villa. Banker over 2 goals Asian handicap 1.67. Leicester versus Wolves, and United Chelsea, both teams to score at 1.75. So those are the odds. All right, guys, good luck betting Premier League week 1. Head on over oddsmarket.com. We've got detailed match breakdowns, and we've also got, Alex has done a accumulator or parlay bet article for the weekend Premier League. So go check that out, plus a lot of other match breakdowns, sports, you name it. Oddsmarket.com, the place to be. Thank you, everybody. Martin, and of course, Flash.
Cheers, Nat.
Nice one.
Cheers.
I'll see you soon.
Many thanks.
Have a great day, Mark.
Yeah, you
yeah,
too.
happy
You too.
anniversary.
Enjoy Costa Rica.
Happy anniversary. It's my 1 day anniversary, or my 1 hour anniversary at the moment.
Congratulations! It's so exciting.
It is, yeah. I think you get. Is it not paper? It's a paper anniversary.
It's a paper.
Yeah. I can't believe you moved to Costa Rica. What a bold move. That's fantastic.
I know. We agreed on Tuesday, and he caught the flight on Wednesday. That's how crazy
Wow.
it was.
That's the way to do it, isn't it? You've got to go
Don't
for it.
hang
Go
about.
for it.
Yes.
Go for it. Yeah. Oh man, good luck with the move. I hope it goes well.
All right, best of luck, guys, and we'll see you next week. We'll be back on Champions League, which will be on Monday, hosted by Flash, if he's up for it.
Oh, let's have the winner like we did last year. I mean, we picked the winner early on, and I tell you what, we had some great value throughout the year. So even when teams don't actually go on and win, there's great value to be had as we go.
There you go. Take care, guys. See you on Monday.